as you may have already heard, the Gabby dog passed away in September. It was unexpected, and it was really hard. It's just been a tremendous outpouring of love and support. We had an amazing memorial service here at the cabin for her. The group came together. People from all over the world through our Facebook group sent these rocks, the stones that were placed here on her grave during the memorial. And thank you all so much. The love and the support that came through this very difficult time has just been amazing. So there's some other things that have been going on here that I think you'd like to know about. It's not just Gabby's fans who've been showing the love and support. Some other things were happening. So in preparation for Gabby's memorial, I was out here a few days before raking and tidying up the yard, and I had an experience that was quite meaningful for me. This little area here is like my pet cemetery. I have my kitties and my other dog, and a lot of my pets are in here. And this is the area that I was working on, just cleaning up and tidying. And at one point, this message, this thought went into my head, just kind of out of the blue, that it's all the same love. It just keeps coming back again. It never goes away. It just returns over and over and over. And at that point, I stopped raking and I turned around and I saw a leaf fall from one of these trees, and it hit the ground, and then above it, another leaf just kind of did this strange upward tug. I thought, well, is there somebody there? Did somebody just give me this message? And while I'm thinking this and I'm looking, and I start to see this shimmer just right here, just this column of shimmer. It's like, okay, you're rubbing your eyes and you're thinking, all right, you're seeing things. You're not sure. I went back to my tidying. I went and I got my trimmers. I wanted to trim up these little trees that are kind of growing in a half circle here. And I got over to about right here. And look at this. It's a perfect loop right there. And I had been going back and forth through here all day long, throwing this stuff right here in this pile, and didn't see it until that moment. So one of the things that Sandy and I did in preparation for the memorial here was to decorate with the fall leaves. We had beautiful bouquets all around the yard. You can see where the remains of some is there, and the ferns are still left from the memorial, but all the leaves have since fallen. But they were just beautiful. All around the yard we had these bouquets. And a few days afterwards, I discovered something out here on the bridge. Let me show you the little video that I took at the time. Somebody decorated the signposts of the new bridge. So back in August, some bridge work was done here. It needed to be able to hold more weight, so they did some fixing on it. And then in September, they came and installed the new signs. Yeah, those leaves were added just days after our memorial for Gabby that was decorated with the leaves. Let me give you a little closer look. All that's left now are the stems. That is like a permanent part of the bridge now. These aren't... Oh, I broke it. Oh well, we'll keep that. Anyway, these are permanent pieces of the bridge now. Get this one over here. I'm not going to pull on this one, but you can see how tight that is in there in the same way. And on this sign, you can actually see it's been bent. the point where it's got a kink over the stem right here. So this metal signpost is meant to make that a permanent fixture. Even though it was a couple of days after Gabby's memorial that those leaves first appeared, I didn't actually stop and take a closer look at them for a few weeks. By that time, you know, we'd had some storms, the weather had gone bad, the leaves had fallen. There was really nothing more than the stems to look at, but just seeing them as they were, so permanently attached to those posts, the one having the metal even a bent around it, it blew me away, and it became a pretty emotional experience for me. So I decided, well, that was a good time. Jack and I needed to come up here and go for a walk. So after I looked at those stems, we walk up here. We're right about here on the trail, and from right here I hear what I would describe, what my first thought was when I heard it, was that it was a tiny symphony of voices that had all come together in one word and said Gabby. And at that point Jack was like right here, and he just stopped, and he heard it too. He's looking right there just in front of where he is now, and something's moving over here. So anyway, within seconds of hearing the voice, you know, I'm just standing here and my jaw is kind of on my chest, and what is that? Hello? Somebody here with us, Jack? Yeah, usually is, isn't there? Oh, yeah, you're good. So anyway, within seconds of having heard that collection of little voices say the name Gabby, I look up, and right through the treetops, right across here, I see this big translucent white orb just go right through there. So I thought, well, you know, let's go check out our old gifting area. So we went up there, and I hadn't been there for very long, and my foot started hurting pretty bad. Out of the blue, just having these bad foot pains. And I'm thinking, well, nobody really knows we're out here. I need to get back. So I turn around and I'm coming back, and right in the middle of the trail behind us, where we had just come in, there's a stick that's freshly stuck in the ground. So, of course, now this is getting me, I'm kind of crying again, and I'm a little emotional over all this. I take a few more steps, and I'm thinking, you know, I am so grateful for all these blessings and all this love and all this support that's coming my way. And I stopped to turn around and say thank you, and behind me there's this tree that's not big, just maybe that big around, and it's maybe 50 feet behind me, and it's going like this, up and down and up and down and up and down, and I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, well, I should take a video. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe that would be disrespectful. Maybe I should, because it's still moving. Maybe. But eventually it stopped, and it came to a rest, and then I took a photograph. So I thanked them again. You know, I'm struggling to keep my composure at this point. You know, it's all so much. So anyway, Jack and I are heading back, right? Yeah. What do you smell, big guy? Okay. Something out here with us. So I start coming back this way. Jack, he's ahead of me on the trail. And there's a corner up here where the dogs used to go nuts, particularly crazy on this one spot of the trail, kind of like it was their last chance before we made it back to the road to do their dog antics. But I got to about here, and I look over, and here's Jack sitting right there on the edge of the corner. He's just like a little statue looking over into the trees. Well, that's strange. Here's the spot where you guys used to just go nuts. And just kept walking. So I was down around the bend, almost back to the road here, when I realized Jack wasn't with me. And I called him, and he didn't come, and I called him, and he didn't come. And this was really unusual, especially since Gabby's passed, because Jack always stays right with me. So I walked back up the trail to about here, and I called him, and from right behind me, right here, I hear this, just this grunt. So I turn around, of course, there's nobody there. I say hello, and I thanked whoever was there for the blessings, and then Jack came running back down the trail. So, there's some other things that have happened besides that are pretty cool to share with you too. Okay, so sometime in that same time frame in there, something happened out here one night. I was sitting in my cabin, and I had the window cracked, and the creek water had only been running again for about a week. It had been dried up since summer, and there was maybe 3 or 4 inches of water in there. It was not flowing anything like it is now. But I started hearing splashing in it out here. And, well, you know, there would be salmon would come up here in the fall, and I thought to myself, you know, just maybe the salmon are back. So I came out with the flashlight, and I looked right here where I'd heard the splashing from inside, and I didn't see anything. And then I heard splashing down there, so I walked down and around these trees here over to that spot, and I looked there, and at that point that was just kind of a big pool right in there, and I could clearly see there was no fish in it. So then I started hearing the splashing again, but I'm not seeing any splashing. I'm not seeing the source of the splashing, so I'm thinking, well, maybe in the time that I had walked down there, a fish had come up here, so I came back up around here, and I looked here again, which still at that point was mostly just a little pool. And no, there was no fish, and it's like, okay, well, the heck with this. I turn around to head back into the cabin, and right behind me, on the other side of the creek here, I hear the footsteps running off. It's like, okay, somebody's messing with me. So I went back in, and I'm sitting there inside the window. I had kept the TV muted that night until I fell asleep, and I could hear them running back and forth through here, and the splashing in the creek, and yeah, there was a lot of activity that night. It was pretty cool just knowing that they were here. So that brings us to something else that I got to tell you about that's, well, kind of spooky. Okay, so that brings me to my next amazing experience I'd like to share with you. This was a few weeks after Gabby's memorial, at the end of October. I was headed back to the cabin one night, and as I approached the bridge, I could see an upright figure walking away from me toward the far end. It appeared to be a cloud person, as it was all white with, you know, a few grayer spots like a cloud, but it had definite edges, it had legs, it was walking. I couldn't really see a head or arms. It appeared to be hunched over, you know, like somebody walking through a storm, and they're kind of just all hunched up. But I could clearly see the legs, and it was about 3/4 of the way over the bridge, across the bridge, on this side, walking that way. So I thought I saw a ghost. Okay, so this picture is purely for demonstration purposes only. I did not get an actual picture of what I saw. I just took a picture of the bridge and drew this in just to show you what it looked like. And this is really close to what I saw. So there was something else that came along with this experience. A few nights later, I had a dream, very intense visual dream, the kind that you remember. I dreamed that I was standing in the riverbed looking for rocks, and for some reason I looked up and I looked into the trees on the other side of the river, and I knew something was there, so I waved, and a Sasquatch hand just kind of appears and waves back at me. Okay, that's cool, there's a Sasquatch over there. And then all of a sudden, from the right of the Sasquatch, I see another Sasquatch behind him just take off through the trees, just mowing stuff over so fast. And then from this side, I see my ghost person, my cloud person, take off in the same fashion, mowing stuff over. And then on this side, I see something, but this time it's just a shimmer, and it's running and it's mowing stuff over. And then I see on this side nothing is running, but the vegetation and everything is being mowed over as though something is. And I woke up, and in my mind was the message that I had been shown the different stages of cloaking. So that made me think, okay, maybe this wasn't a ghost that I saw here on the bridge. Maybe, well, you know, in all the years that I've been driving over this bridge, I never before seen anything like that before or since. But it got me to thinking. So we came out and we did a few reenactments. First, Tom Cantrell came up, and we put him right here by the 4th post, which seemed to be about right with the picture that I had made as a demonstration to show what I had seen. And we lined it up, and Tom seemed tiny in comparison to the person that had been walking. Well, then I got to thinking, okay, maybe it's a distance thing. You know, maybe he needed to be back a little bit, so we brought another camp out member in, and we did it again, brought him just a little bit closer, and no, still, a person viewed from that end of the bridge, at this end of the bridge, looks so much tinier than what I saw walking away from me that night. So then we got to looking at the posts. In the time that it takes for us to walk the distance, let's see, it would have been 4 posts from the end. Let's see how many steps I can take. Here's, starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 steps for me. That took me from one post to the next post. What I saw took 3 or 4 steps and went from the post to the end of the bridge. This was not a ghost, but rather a cloaked Sasquatch. As far as you can go to say that there's a difference between the two on camera and to document it. You know, it's really not anything you can prove. It's only something you can just kind of tell about and demonstrate to the best of your abilities. So I guess I'll leave it up to you to decide what that was. Oh, here comes a car. So since then, you know, things have quieted down. There's been a few odd occurrences at the house with Jack. One night I watched a paper towel scoot across the counter in front of me for no reason. Objects have been moved. The occurrence with Jack happened just a few days before Christmas, where I was in the laundry room folding stuff, and I turned around and there he was right behind me. Didn't want to move, kept looking out toward the kitchen. When I finally coaxed him out, he looked both ways into the hall and the rest of the house, and when he finally came out, he just went and sat between the cabinets in the kitchen. And it wasn't until I asked whatever presence was there to quit picking on Jack that he finally relaxed and came out and got onto his dog bed and was back to his normal self. I have high hopes for Jack. He's a sweetheart of a guy, got a heart of gold, but I don't know if he's ever going to be a good Bigfooting dog. He's awful sensitive. So I think for now, when I have something of interest to share with you, I will continue to share. And we'll still be having our camp outs, and I gotta tell you, it's awful hard to do this without my Gabby dog. But anyway, thank you all so much for the love and the support and for being there. I know you miss her too. Thanks everybody. Bye.
I wrote this song on the first camp out that I was able to participate in, and continued writing it over the months, and I'd like to share it with you guys today.
One for the guitar and one for the voice?
Or could you?
Sure. Do I hold it?
Yeah. All right, look at this.
Let's do it right.
Teamwork.